Why do so many people associate steak with strength? Why do advertisements show muscular men drinking milk? And why have beef and dairy been linked to masculinity for centuries? The connection is so common that most people never stop to question it. But the relationship between beef, milk, and masculinity isn't purely nutritional. It's historical, it's cultural, and at times, it's been deliberately marketed. Today, we're exploring the strange history of how two everyday foods became symbols of strength, power, and manhood. Welcome back to the channel. If you're interested in the history of food, strength, and muscle-building culture, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating relationships in food history: beef, milk, and masculinity. Long before people understood protein, amino acids, or muscle physiology, they still noticed patterns. The strongest people in society often had greater access to animal foods. Warriors, hunters, landowners, athletes. Many consumed more meat and dairy than the average person. As a result, people began connecting animal foods with physical power. The logic was simple. Strong men ate meat. Strong men drank milk. Therefore, meat and milk must create strength. Today, we know the relationship is more complicated than that. But for centuries, those observations shaped cultural beliefs. Animal foods became associated not just with health, but with status, power, and masculinity. Few foods gained a stronger masculine reputation than beef. In medieval Europe, large cuts of beef were often associated with wealth and strength. By the 18th and 19th centuries, beef had become a national symbol in countries like England. The phrase "beef and liberty" was used to celebrate the idea that strong citizens and strong nations were built on hearty diets. As industrialization spread, beef consumption became a sign of prosperity. A man who could afford steak regularly was often viewed as successful. By the late 1800s, strongmen athletes and physical culture advocates frequently promoted beef as a strength-building food. Even though they lacked modern nutritional science, they believed meat contributed directly to muscular development. And because many of the strongest-looking men consumed it, the reputation stuck. Milk has an even stranger history. For much of human history, milk was simply considered a practical food. But during the late 19th and early 20th centuries, health reformers, athletes, and physical culture movements began promoting milk as a near-perfect food. Bodybuilding pioneer Eugen Sandow and many early strength athletes praised milk for supporting growth and recovery. Then came advertising. Throughout the 20th century, dairy campaigns increasingly featured athletes, soldiers, and strong young men. Milk wasn't just sold as food. It was sold as fuel for strength. The message was clear. Drink milk, grow bigger, become stronger, become more masculine. Whether that message was scientifically accurate or not, it proved extremely effective. As bodybuilding grew during the 20th century, beef and milk became foundational foods. Before protein powders became widely available, many bodybuilders relied heavily on steak, ground beef, whole milk, eggs. Chicken breast didn't become popular until the 1970s and 1980s. Some athletes reportedly drank gallons of milk per day while trying to gain size. The image of the muscular man eating steak and drinking milk became deeply embedded in popular culture. For decades, these foods were viewed as essential tools for building a powerful physique. So why are beef and milk linked to masculinity? Partly because they provide nutrients that support growth and physical performance. But also because centuries of cultural beliefs, social status, athletic traditions, and marketing campaigns reinforce that connection. In many ways, beef and milk became symbols. Symbols of strength, symbols of prosperity, symbols of physical power. And whether those symbols were entirely justified or not, their influence can still be seen today, every time someone orders a steak to eat like a man or drinks milk to build strong muscles. The strange history of beef, milk, and masculinity isn't really about food. It's about how societies decide which foods represent strength and why those ideas can last for generations. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more stories about the history of food, strength, and muscle-building culture. And let me know in the comments which food has the most surprising history in your opinion. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.